Doktor, paano napigilan ang familial diabetes o yung diabetes na dumadaloy sa dugo or nasa dugo na ng walang gamot? Yes, that is me. My name is Dr. Josephine Grace Rojo. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to our live episode. And in celebration of our 1 million follower milestone in our Facebook channel, I would like to share with you kung ano yung ginawa ko, how I stopped familial diabetes na nasa family na nga namin. So, my lolo, my grandfather died of diabetes complications. My father also at the age of only 56, together na kanyang mga kapatid na less than 60 ay namatay din because of diabetes and diabetes complications. More than 10 years ago, before I entered med school, I was already diagnosed with pre-diabetes. So, meron na akong pre-diabetes, but for the longest time now, I think going 5 years now, I have reversed that. And last month, yung HbA1c ko is already just around 5%. And that is way below than the usual na target ng ating American Diabetes Association, which is below 7 na HbA1c, which we know can still lead to complications. So, 5 as HbA1c is already considered normal. So, I have reversed my pre-diabetes na level or status, and now I am already at that normal status, and I am an ENT specialist. I'm not a dietitian or a nutritionist, but I will share with you kung ano yung natutunan ko as a doctor and as a researcher kung paano nga ma-reverse, matigilan, ma-stop yung familial diabetes in 7 simple steps. So, simulan na natin. So the first one, of course, if ever meron kayong diabetes sa family, is try to look at your food intake. So titingnan ninyo kung ano yung usual na kinakain ng pamilya. So ano ang usual na kinakain on a day-to-day basis? Gaano karami yung kanin na sinasaing? Gaano karami yung kanin na kinakain ng bawat miyembro? Some may not manifest as diabetes. Say for example, your dad is diabetic, yet pareho sila yung kinakain ng mommy ninyo. Pero try to look, baka meron pa rin other manifestations of insulin resistance yung other family members. It can show as hypertension, or sa mga bata pa, it can reflect as aches and pains, or sa mga kababaihan, especially young women of reproductive age, it can manifest as PCOS or polycystic ovarian syndrome that can also lead into infertility. So try to look at what you are eating as a family. Kung ano yung mga favorite food ng pamilya. So first, tingnan kung ano yung usual na kinakain, usual na ulam, at gaano karami yung kinakain natin in a day. So, yung almusal, yung lunch, and dinner. Next, you look at your snacks. Ano yung parating snacks? Ano yung paboritong snacks ng pamilya? Banana Q, kamote Q, yung saging na saba na niluluto, and then sandwiches, tinapay, 3-in-1 coffee, soft drinks, at kung ano-ano pa. Try to have that list para malaman ninyo kung ano yung later, yung pwede nating bawasan. Kahit walang gamot, pwede pong mai-reverse ang diabetes. So, I will tell you step by step on what you will do. So, we already tackled your daily food intake, your snacks, and how about special occasions? Tingnan kung ano yung parating handa kapag merong special na okasyon. Hindi lechon yung kalaban natin. But try to look at the other foods na hinahanda. Gaano karami yung cake, especially yung mga cake na binibili lang outside. So these are mostly considered as high carb and dangerous na cake. It's very high in bad fats, and it's also high in bad carbs. So look at your cake intake, yung mga pasta, yung ice cream, at kung ano-ano pa, pansit, bihon, those are actually very high in carbohydrates. Brazos de Mercedes at mga kakanin, those are examples of high carb foods na baka kailangan nating iwasan. And lastly, on a day-to-day basis, reflect din kung ano yung usual na drinks, hindi lang pagkain. Kailan kayo nagso-soft drinks? Kailan kayo nagfruit juice, nag-iced tea, na sweetened with sugar, or yung mga instant iced tea? those are also sources of glucose na pwedeng magpataas ng inyong blood sugar. Kaya nga yung familial diabetes, as much as merong component nito na genetics, mas malaki pa rin yung impact ng kinakain natin sa araw-araw. Familial diabetes is now considered as really a lifestyle disease. Hindi siya dahil lang sa dugo, but dahil sa kinakain na pare-pareho ng bawat pamilya. So try to look kung gaano karami yung kinakain nyo, especially on the foods that I will mention. And once you already know kung ano yung parati ninyong kinakain sa family, then you can start making changes. So, number 2 on that step, no? So, the first one is to check kung ano yung usual meals ng family that is being shared by the family. And we will now move on to step 2. And step 2, of course, is you will do carbohydrate and other inflammatory food na elimination. So, eliminate unnecessary carbs and foods that are inflammatory. So, where do you start? So, always look at our JGC Rojo food list para makita ninyo kung ano yung pinakauna-una ninyong dapat iwasan. So, of course, start with the high carb, highly inflammatory na nasa danger list na kind of carbohydrate. So, anything that is loaded with sugar, fructose, glucose, at kung ano-ano pang mga syrup. Soft drinks, yung mga fruit juices, yung mga fraps na binibili ninyo sa coffee shop. So those are loaded with glucose na nakakapagpataas ng blood sugar and nakakaworsen ng insulin resistance. What else do you need to avoid? Those pastries, yung mga biscuits, yung mga muffins, mga mamon na nakapakete, those are actually also loaded with sugar. So anything na sweetened with sugar, especially desserts, especially if kinakain nyo ito on a day-to-day basis, kailangan you have to lessen it. Kung pwede pa nga lang, stop it altogether. There can be alternatives naman for those who are starting. Merong mga low-carb desserts, but that is not advisable if you can avoid it. That is only reserved if hindi talaga kaya. But I believe in you. I know kaya mo yan because I also know how much of a foodie I am, kung gaano ako ka mahilig sa matamis before. Thinking, you have to consider na before, kapag kumakain ako ng cake, ay ang kinakain ko lang is more on the icing. Kung ganito yung icing at saka yung breading is ganyan or yung chiffon, yung kakainin ko lang na chiffon is maliit lang para mga nasa 1:3 yung kanilang proportion ng icing. Ganun ako sa mahilig sa sweets before, but not anymore when I started a low carb and fasting way of life. So what else on our list here? So desserts, soft drinks, those are the ones that you really have to avoid, and of course other inflammatory foods. If you are taking in alcohol, that can also increase your insulin resistance. So, better avoid taking alcohol. Kasi wala naman siyang nutritional value except for very few alcohol like red wine, to which we will discuss maybe in another video, or I think I've discussed that before. But for now, to make it simple, eliminate all alcohol altogether. And others, kapag if ever na na-eliminate nyo na yung mga highly inflammatory foods na yon, and still diabetic pa rin kayo kahit pa hindi na kayo kumakain ng kahit anong matamis, pero kapag tinitingnan ng inyong HbA1c and ang inyong blood sugar ay mataas pa rin, lagpas pa rin sa 150, lagpas sa 100 every morning, then you might be eating or consuming high carb na hindi matamis. Yes, meron pong mga pagkain na high carb, mataas sa glucose, pero hindi matamis. Bakit? Because they are high in starch. So, ang high in starch, it's a complex carbohydrates, pero madali lang itong ma-breakdown sa ating katawan at nako-convert pa rin into glucose. So, ano yung number 1 na starchy foods ng mga Pinoy? That is rice. So, yung kanin, if 1 cup of rice ay meron itong katumbas na glucose kapag na-breakdown na sa ating katawan, meron itong katumbas na nasa 10 teaspoons of white sugar kung equivalent niyan sa ating pagkain. So 1 cup of rice kapag this is starch, pero kapag na-breakdown na ng mga enzymes sa ating katawan, it is equivalent to 40 to 45 grams of glucose, same or similar to 10 to 11 teaspoons of white sugar. So remember, if you are eating 3 cups of rice in a day, so that is at least 30 teaspoons of white sugar. So hindi ka nga naglagay ng asukal sa inyong kape, umiiwas ka na sa mga matatamis, and yet you are still diabetic because you are actually getting your sugar from other sources na baka hindi mo lang namamalayan kasi nga hindi sila matamis. So what else are the sources of starch? So tinapay, yung paborito ninyong mainit na pandesal sa umaga, or yung mga cheese bread or ube bread na mainit sa hapon, those are still one of your greatest sources of glucose na baka ang dahilan ay yun yung bakit hindi kayo mawala-wala sa inyong medications. It might be the reason why every year mas dumadagdag yung inyong mga gamot for diabetes. If ever alam nyo na kailangan yung mga kailangan iwasan yung mga starchy foods at umiiwas na rin kayo sa mga fruits. Pero if you see na wala pa rin improvement or hindi nyo makuha-kuha yung pinaka-goal ninyo when it comes to sugar control, yung mawala talaga yung dependency natin sa gamot, try to also look at your other sources of carbohydrates. These ones are in our caution list. So, it can be accommodated, especially kung wala kang diabetes or kung gumaling ka na. But if you still have active diabetes and you have sugar or glucose intolerance, you might as well avoid it for you to really see healing. Para makita mo talaga kung what it feels like para kung kayo ay gumaling. So, what are these foods na considered as healthy by the many? These are the foods na considered as high in fiber, merong mga vitamins, minerals, but hindi na mention that they are still also loaded with either glucose or fructose or starch. So, yung mga oatmeal, high fiber na mga breads, so yung mga whole wheat bread, and even fruits. I know this may sound like a surprise for many, but for you, especially the 1 million followers in our Facebook channel and also nearing 300,000 na tayo. I hope you can support our YouTube channel na ating main channel ngayon that we are growing. I hope you can follow there, Dr. Josephine Grace Rojo. Make sure ninyo na alam nyo na yung basic sa low carb. So, let's review yung pinaka-basic natin sa low carb, which is actually lowering our carbohydrate intake to not more than 50 grams of carbohydrate in a day na yon, not per meal, because I think yung mga dietary recommendation for diabetes ay nasa 60 grams of carbohydrates per meal yon, and they are recommending 5 to 6 or 5 to 7 meals in a day, and that is too much, and that is the reason why diabetics remain diabetics. But kahit pa-memorize nyo na yung low carb, kung paano i-dissect yung ating food list at kung ano yung usual na pagkakainin, alam nyo ba na mas marami pa rin ang walang nakakaalam about low carbs. So, the fact that you know and the fact that you are here watching our video, we have this responsibility to spread it. So, I hope you share this to your family, friends, or timeline. Kahit pa walang nagpa-follow, merong makakakita niyan, and you can already help at least one soul either reverse diabetes or avoid it. So, yun. Kailangan i-avoid nyo muna yun. So, start with the danger list kind of carbohydrates, yung mga matatamis. So, hindi lang sugar, pati honey, pati cocoa sugar, pati muscovado, kasi those are still high in glucose and fructose. There are sweeteners na mababa sa glycemic index, hindi man sila instantly nakaka-shoot up ng inyong blood glucose, pero they are loaded with fructose, and fructose directly affects your liver, and kapag naapektuhan na yung liver, yung inyong insulin resistance, it will worsen, at pwedeng tumaas yung inyong triglycerides kahit hindi kayo kumakain ng taba, because excess fructose can be converted into these kinds of inflammatory bad fats. So, kailangan i-avoid nyo yan, especially if you are eating too much fruits. So, what is too much fruits? If you are consuming 1 apple in a day, or its equivalent carbohydrates. So either 1 apple lang, yun na yun in a day. But if you are eating 1 apple and 1 slice of bread and then another papaya and another mangga, and those can actually accumulate into still not going to help you when it comes to your reversal of diabetes. So that's the 2 most important start ng inyong journey when it comes to reversing your familial diabetes. Tigilan, stop familial diabetes. Hopefully, it will spread amongst all Filipinos and Asians and hopefully all over the world kasi sobrang dami na pong nabibiktima na nito. And what's good news here is pwede itong ma-reverse kahit walang gamot. Just mindful eating and choosing kung ano yung dapat kainin. So now, we will now move on to number 3 kasi puro bawal yung pinag-usapan natin. So, kung bawal na kumain ng kanin, ng banana, ng bread, so ano na lang yung ating pwedeng kakainin? So, the number 3 step that we can do when it comes to elimination of diabetes in the family is to know which food to eat, and these are the healthy fats and proteins. So, damihan yung pagkain ninyo ng healthy fats and proteins. If hindi pa talaga kayang mawala yung carbohydrates, you can choose better carbohydrates in the form of vegetables. Low-carb vegetables like mga lettuce, pepino. We can also have some tomato, yung green tomato. You can also have broccoli, cauliflower, pechay, my favorite, at sayote, at marami pa namang iba. Make sure lang na hindi kayo sensitive sa gulay kasi meron palang iba na sensitive sa gulay. Nagkakaroon sila ng stomach upset. These foods are what we call considered as FODMAP. So research nyo yan, FODMAP. Mga FODMAPs na group kasi mataas sila sa fermentable na mga fibers. So if you are not sensitive to that, along with other anti-nutrients na nasa vegetables, then you can consume those low-carb vegetables. But to be safe, wala pa akong kilalang may allergy sa pork, may allergy sa beef. So, those are your safest na mga meat. So, red meat actually, wala pa akong nakikitang may allergy sa red meat. White meat, meron pa, certain seafoods. And of course, chicken and egg whites. So, hopefully, you are also not sensitive to that. And if you are not sensitive to that, then you can enjoy them. Nasa safe list yan ng ating JGC Rojo food list. So make sure to look at it, study it every time na nako-confuse kayo kung ano yung kakainin. Other healthy fats that you can enjoy, of course, you can have avocado kasi season ngayon, and byproducts of mature coconut meat. Mature coconut like coconut oil or kakangata, coconut cream, coconut milk, those are all your possible low-carb options. And kahit yung buko juice pero from the mature side, yes, lessen na ang sugar niyan. So you can also enjoy that. So know which foods to eat and you really have to increase your food intake or else kapag nag-low carb kayo pero low fat, low protein, ay low na yung kinakain nyo, that might lead into malnutrition. So baka maging malnourished kayo and that's something that I don't want you to experience. Dapat walang malnutrition when it comes to low carb. Ang pagpayat is just secondary lamang. Ang pinaka-importante yung healthy ka. Kung ikaw ay payat na payat, pero walang hihina, parating nagkakasakit, then you might not be doing it right. Baka kulang yung inyong kinakain, especially on the fats and the proteins. Remember, when you are doing low carb, yung majority ng inyong energy will be coming from fats. Proteins will ensure na hindi kayo mangangayayat. So, kung kulang kayo sa proteins, mangangayayat kayo. Kung kulang kayo sa fats, mangangayayat din kayo at manghihina. So, try to see kung saan kayo niyan. And of course, make sure nyo na enough ang inyong electrolytes. We made a lot of videos about electrolytes, but to make it simple, increase your salt intake the moment you do low carb because yung capacity ng katawan natin to retain salt in the body becomes less the moment na pinapababa natin yung ating glucose and insulin level in our body. So, yon. Number 3 is know what to eat more. So, number 4, ano yung gagawin to reverse your diabetes, familial diabetes? This one is especially important, especially sa may mga iniinom ng gamot. Monitor your blood glucose. So, kailangan i-monitor nyo talaga. During the beginning, during the start, kapag nagsisimula pa lang kayo, you can actually monitor it as often as every like 6 times in a day. So, by the morning you wake up, and then pagkatapos kumain ng almusal, before kumain ng tanghalian, and then right after eating, and also the same way by dinner. If you want to lessen that, pwede naman, but make sure you have to stick with your usual meal. Kasi yung importante ng pagmamonitor ng ating blood glucose is malalaman natin kung ano yung mga pagkain nagpapataas ng inyong blood sugar. If ever you already know kung ano yung safe food at yun yung kakainin nyo, then you don't need to monitor anymore. Say for example, if I will eat only egg and pork and vegetable that time, hindi ko na kailangang i-monitor kasi alam ko hindi mag-spike yung aking blood sugar. But say for example, merong magbibigay sa akin ng low carb na bread and I will try it out. So that time, I will have to check kung if I want to be really strict about it, I have to check kung ano yung blood sugar ko before ako kumain, and then 15 minutes after, 30 minutes after, and then 1 hour after. Titingnan ko kung merong spike sa aking blood sugar at kung kailan ito babagsak back to normal. If at the 1 hour is mataas pa din, more than 130 pa din, then I have to check again after 2 hours para malaman mo if safe talaga yan. But generally, if it's between 70 to 100, that is considered your goal. That is normal na blood sugar. Hindi nyo kailangan matakot sa hypoglycemia. 70 to 100 is normal. Kung if ever nahihilo, baka kulang lang kayo sa asin or kulang sa water or baka kulang ng exercise. We will discuss that in a short while. And postprandial, kapag tapos ng kumain, it should only be more than or plus 30 from your baseline. So say for example, yung kinakain, bago kayo kumain is nasa 100 yung inyong blood sugar. Kung kumain kayo na low carb, to make sure it's low carb, dapat hindi ito lalagpas ng 130. That is plus 30 from your baseline o yung iyong blood sugar level bago kayo kumain. So, of course, no, if you ate, say, if your blood sugar, for example, is just around 80 before kayo kumain, so dapat hindi rin ito lalagpas ng 130, dapat nasa 110 lang, kasi plus 30 lang. Don't get fixated sa 130, kasi baka pababain nyo ng husto, nasa 70 kayo, at kakain kayo ng high carb, kasi alam nyo, hindi naman ito tataas ng 130. That is a cheat at hindi yan ideal because the moment you fluctuate your blood sugar na sobrang baba at sobrang taas, that is when reactive oxygen species develop at sila yung pinaka-source ng inflammation among diabetics. So, dapat stable, normal level of blood sugar. Okay, so that is number 4 and now we move on to number 5. So number 5, if you have medications, if umiinom na kayo ng gamot for diabetes, you have to adjust them accordingly. Kung ito ay bumababa na, or especially if meron na kayong episodes of hypoglycemia, then you might need to either adjust them or lower them, or baka kailangan na itong tigilan. Of course, it's best if you will do it with the guidance of a professional. So, you have to record and you can show it to your endocrinologist. Show them kung ano yung epekto ng gamot sa inyo ngayon that you are doing low carb. My take on that is hindi kailangan tayo ang umadjust sa gamot. The medicine should be able to adjust to us. Kasi tayo yung mas importante, hindi yung gamot, hindi yung pharmaceutical that can increase the income with intake of more medication. Kailangan yung gamot na mag-adjust sa atin, especially kung hindi na natin ito kailangan. So, decrease the dose, decrease maybe the number of medications because I know, no, when before nag-insulin yung papa ko before, I think nasa 5 gamot na of different kinds yung kanyang iniinom for diabetes. And it may not reflect as 5 medicine. Parang 2 tabletas lang yung iniinom niya in a day. Pero, yung isa nun, combination of 3, yung isa nun, combination of 2. So, it's actually 5 kinds of medicine na parang hindi mo lang namamalayan. So, if ever na hindi na yun ganun kakailangan, especially when you lower your glucose load or glucose burden sa katawan, then it must be adjusted. If you need help when it comes to adjusting, kung paano i-adjust, that is discussed in our Diabetes Masterclass, Low Carb and Fasting Diabetes Masterclass, now available in our website, of course, together with other mga lifestyle diseases. We have 12 lifestyle diseases na encompassing so many things. Kasi sabi nga nila, ang mga sakit daw natin ngayon in this modern times, mga nasa 90% all lifestyle induced. So, nasa pagkain lang and nasa lifestyle lang. And once we know the basic, we can actually avoid or at least halt or at least madelay natin ang pagkakaroon ng mga sakit na ito, because I realize the people who are not very conscious sa kanilang kinakain are becoming younger and younger when it comes to sickness. We already have 40s or 30s na heart attack na, stroke na, 20s, nagda-dialysis na, and all of these combined are related to lifestyle and food choices. So, adjust your medication as needed. Yung goal natin sa HbA1c is not for diabetics na goal na sinet nila at 7, but for normal. Because what we want is to reverse diabetes, and that is less than 5.7%, and you can check your HbA1c every 3 months, okay? So get help. We have a lot of videos, free videos when it comes to low carb and fasting to help you with your journey. Meron ding mga low carb coaches, low carb doctors, or even your own endocrinologist. You can work with them. I have a lot of patients, followers, friends na kahit yung endocrinologist nila ay hindi naman naka-low carb, but since they followed the masterclass na monitoring sheet, 1 month lang, bumalik sila sa kanilang endo, and their endo seen kung ano yung record nila at paano bumaba yung kanilang blood sugar with just alteration of their food, at yung endo na mismo nila ang unti-unting nagtanggal ng kanilang mga gamot. Sometimes they are only left with just one, like metformin na lang na 1 dose, low dose in a day, as compared to 5 medications 2 times, 3 times a day before. And others nga, good to know, from insulin injections ngayon, free na of all medication. So that is important. Again, if you wish to know more, www.lcfmasterclass.org. And if ever gusto nyo naman na sa Facebook pa rin kayo manonood, we also have an online exclusive community for Facebook on each of our masterclasses. But the ones in the website will cost less. Mas mura po yon. And number 6, so ano yung 6 steps, 6 tip natin when it comes to stopping familial disease? So, you have to adjust or do other healthy habits. Hindi lang basta low carb at hindi lang basta fasting. So, start with low carb first, and then fasting will just eventually follow. Huwag din pwersahin yung fasting. I think that was my mistake before, na I'm really very conscious sa aking fasting time. Now, I'm no longer conscious. I now listen to my body. Kung alam kong na hindi ko pa kailangan kumain, then I don't eat. And when I know that my body needs nutrition na, then I eat. And good thing, you become adjusted to it, na yung appetite mo nagiging correct na hindi ka na kumakain just because oras na ng pagkain. But it's because your body really needs that nutrition. So, what are the other healthy habits that you can do here? So, I listed here, number 1, 15 to 30 minutes daily sun exposure to regulate your hormones, regulate your circadian rhythm, improve your sleep, improve your mood, improve your immune system. So, marami po, parang limitless yung benefit ata with sun exposure. So, do at least 15 minutes kung direct sun exposures ng 12 noon, but if it's already early in the day or late in the day, so you can extend it to up to 30 minutes, okay? So sleep, number 2, sleep is also very, very important. So 7 to 9 hours of sleep, you can also prioritize that in a day. Number 3, or letter C, we have electrolytes, so more salt. And of course, when you eat nutrient-dense foods in the form of meat, no? If you can incorporate some organ meats from time to time, and you can spice it up with pepper, with red bell pepper, some greens, avocado. You can also get lots of these other vitamins and minerals and electrolytes na kakailanganin nyo. Pork has a lot of potassium, so eat pork. And also, it's important to regulate your mood. So regulate your mood by prayers, having faith, and also positivity. So believe that you are going to heal and that you are on your road to healing at yon ay bibigay sa inyo. Number 5 or letter E would be to move more. Move more and sit less. So, if hindi nyo pa kayang mag-move more, start lang muna by sitting less. So, maybe you can work standing. Last time, my sister showed me a photo niya at ng kanyang boss na merong nag-take ng picture sa kanila na kanyang office mate kasi nakatayo silang dalawa. It's because they were talking for so long, they have a meeting, na matagal na sila nakaupo and the boss already asked if pwede bang tumayo sila. So, meron siyang laptop stand na para sa height ng nakatayo because he already realized they are in the hospital business and they already realized the side effects of sitting a lot. Sabi nila ngayon, sitting daw is like the new smoking. So it is addicting na ginagawa ng lahat, but it is also damaging our health. So sit less and then maybe you can stand more, and then if you have time, you can move more. Work out, walk, run, jog, bicycle, or whatever you do. But baby steps muna. Start with sitting less. And lastly, on the healthy habits, make sure to try to help others. Helping others is actually very helpful for you also. So, hindi lang siya nakakatulong sa iba, it will also help you sustain this way of life. That is very important. And when you help others, you're also spreading positivity. You will sleep well at night, and of course, you will be motivated to go out every day knowing that you are helping another life. So, yon. And lastly, number 7, sa pag-stop or pag-reverse ng familial diabetes, ano yung gagawin? I-maintain ang lifestyle nito. Not because na nagka-HbA1c na kayo ng 5 at hindi na ito tumataas, ay pwede na kayong bumalik sa inyong previous unhealthy habits. It's just a matter of time na pwede rin bumalik ang inyong mga sakit. So, number 7 is very important, and that is maintenance. So how can you maintain? Keep watching our videos, help others spreading this way of life, at i-practice nyo ito. Try to make an impact by helping one person at a time, starting with your own and then your family members, your closest friends. Or if hindi sila naniniwala sa inyo, make a channel, make your own reels, no? So libre lang ang paggawa niyan. You don't know kung sino yung pwede ninyong matulungan. So that's it. Yan yung 7 steps natin to stop diabetes. I have a surprise for you. Kung sino man yung first 10 na recap, makakasend ng kanilang message in our admins kung ano yung 7 steps natin for familial diabetes, how to stop familial diabetes, will be given a free admission in our NLCD. So, first 10 ay magiging free on our National Low Carb Day on October 1, 2023 in the FILINVEST tent in Alabang, Muntinlupa City. So, kung hindi pa kayo nakapag-register, nasa 1 month na lang tayo before our event will happen, the second National Low Carb Day. It's the biggest gathering of low carbers here in the Philippines. So, hindi ko pa alam, hindi ko kasi alam kung ano yung number ng attendees abroad ng ibang mga low carb summit doon. But I think it's one of the biggest because last year we reached more than 1,000, and we are aiming the same this year because we prepared so much more and so much better, so much fun na program for all of you. You will see all your beloved low carb advocates in the country. So make sure na you will register, log on to www.nationallowcarbday.com, or kung nahihirapan kayo mag-register dyan, i-message nyo lang yung admins natin. Admin siya at 0917-993-1239 in our Viber, or message in our Facebook group para siya na mismo ang mag-register para sa inyo. Monday to Friday only. Kasi nagpapahinga din po, especially beauty, rest, ang weekends natin, and nighttime. And that is also what you should do. Prioritize yourself, prioritize your health, prioritize your sanity, prioritize it kasi once without that, ay mawawala ng saysay ang lahat. So, I thank you. I think that's it. I hope you enjoyed our live episode ngayon at maraming salamat. Hello to everyone, and of course to our mga top fans, mga star senders, top sharers, milestone followers, at lahat sa inyo composing our 1 million followers. And I hope you can also support not just in Facebook, but also we have TikTok, IG, and most importantly, we have a YouTube channel. Search nyo lang. My name still, Dr. Josephine Grace Rojo. Maraming salamat everyone. I hope to see you on National Low Carb Day 2023. This is year 2 of our NLCD. Maraming salamat po. Remember to always stay low carb so that we all stay safe. Bye!
I hope to see you all in the National Low Carb Day 2023 on October 1 in the FILINVEST tent, Alabang, Muntinlupa City. This is co-presented by Burp Low Carb Deli, and we would like to thank all of our sponsors, especially the Platinum, Gold, Silver, and Bronze. See you then!